Okay, let's address both character and also conveying of emotions in acting. Now, these are important topics, and you've got to come to your own understanding on them. There's a lot of people will say, they're getting into character and they're getting into the ability to convey emotion. Now, look, if you think of this in terms, by the way, I'm Simon Blake. I've written like over 6 books in acting. I've seen over 8,000 acting classes. There's all kinds of other stuff. So every day, all I do since a teenager is study acting, look at acting over and over and over and over. And look, emotion is something that I have literally looked at in acting, where that is the go-to of being able to work with actors in acting. You've got to be able to find the emotion, and you've got to be able to activate it. You don't want to just prepare for it. You want to actually get it activated in you. And this gets into the topic of character and also the ability to convey and the concept of conveying. Look, most times conveying emotion is not going to be you don't want to re-stimulate yourself while you're involved in the acting. That's why we stay connected to the other actor. See, we stay connected to the other actor, and then the other actor brings out the emotion over and over and over. And we literally go back and forth between simply receiving them and then get reactivated by receiving our partner. So therefore, we don't have to convey an emotion. What we've done is we actually prepared the emotion beforehand. We've gotten the emotion not only prepared, we've also activated it. So that's the reason why I have the book's emotional preparation, because there's over 700 actual good, great emotions that you can use for your emotional preparations. That the last step of emotional preparation is emotional activation. So you're going to have to be able to get into the frequency of that emotional range prior to your acting experience, and then go into the being state of acting, not the doing state of acting, the being state of acting, which is receiving from your acting partner, which is critical. And this is where we get into the topic of what is conveying emotion. Most people will come into the situation, and this is something that I'm sure I did this a little bit, but I didn't do much of it. But I did have to learn this on my own journey of acting. Now, I was involved in going way back. I would do 2 and 3 hour improvisations. I mean, sometimes typically it would be an hour, but if they were really good, they'd go on long, and we'd be under the imaginary circumstance. Now, Stanislavski's people call it given circumstances. I like to call all acting interaction acting interaction, because as soon as you leap into the imaginary world of your acting world, you don't want to be in a place where you're conveying emotion. You want to be in a place where you're allowing and you're surrendering over yourself to your acting partner. Your acting partner is going to be what re-stimulates your emotion over and over and over. And that's how the audience knows that you're being real. See, if you're conveying emotion, you're actually in a situation where you're actually sparking your own emotion on a time. A lot of times actors will do this on a time interval. They'll be like, well, this is the part of the script where I'm supposed to be upset. So they try and reactivate their emotion during their acting interaction. I don't recommend that. I mean, there is some great stylistic acting, possibly, that can work with parts of that, but I don't recommend it. I recommend going in and just literally being in the being state of acting. You've done your emotional preparation warm-ups. You've done everything that you could to get yourself activated in your emotional life outside of your acting world. Then you walk into your acting interaction, your acting scene. You want to completely rely on the other individual. And this brings up now the topic of character. Character actors are often what typically that would be people that there's a lot of different schools of thoughts with this, because character actors typically were ones that wouldn't necessarily be able to be, well, there's a lot of different, I don't want to try and oversimplify the complications of many different people's very genuine thoughts on what a character actor is. But if you are going to believe that you are a character, I could understand that could be helpful for you in some ways. However, if you are believing that you're a character and you're not understanding that your connection to the other audience or to the other actor is going to be the thing that the audience then connects to, then you're going to lose your audience retention. And this is critically important, because I accept I swear, every single type of acting technique. But I break every single acting technique down into emotion. So I'm not convoluted. And I had to figure that out. It took me years to figure this out. I mean, way over 15 years in one acting school area, plus the other areas, plus other stuff I've studied, plus my prior stuff that I'd studied. I was like, this is, how do I break this stuff down? And I'd watch scene after scene, and I'd watch acting class after acting class, and I'd watch emotional preparation after emotional preparation. And I was less than 10 feet. I was the only one that would see the actors in the theater actually doing their preparations. So that includes anybody in the theater. So what I was able to learn from that was I was able to break everything down into emotion. Now, if you're thinking to yourself that you go into a character and that gives you an emotional freedom to be able to connect to the other actor better or deeper, then go ahead, use that technique. Because what you were looking at is we're looking at being able to I like to use the word amplify, because 1 + 1 in acting shouldn't equal 2. It should be a 1 + 1, and there's a multiplier, because there's a vacuum that gets created within the imaginary circumstance or the given circumstances or acting circumstances. You're expanding the interest. You're expanding the two different actors come together, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that they have to deal with as there's a multiplier on their interaction. And that is the key. So if you want to have the freedom, if it gives you freedom to think of yourself as being a character, I think it's fantastic. But I would caution you to think, you might want to consider, are you taking yourself out of the actual acting interaction by considering yourself a character? And this is the thing. I'm terrible with names. Every single time I see an actor on stage, it's very rare that I remember an actor's name. I've seen so many different famous actors, so many, hundreds and hundreds of people learning the acting techniques, interacting with whatever. And the thing is that I never remember the names, because every single time they're on stage doing a scene, it's like 2 weeks later. It's like the next 2 weeks they have a different name. They have a next 2 weeks, and I put their names down in the book. I try and make it like, I'll remember the first names here and there. I'm intelligent, but the thing is that my focus is on not so much on the element of character. See, a lot of actors will do this thing and they'll be like, well, I have to try and believe that the other person's that other name. I have to do this. I have to do that. Look, forget all that. Break it down into emotion. Break it down into connection. Break it down into what's going to give you the depth of reception, what's going to reactivate you when you're with the other acting partner. Now, I'll tell you one bit of a little secret, and then we'll wrap it up. Look, when I do acting myself, I give myself an extra vulnerability. Why would I really need to know something from the other actor? Because then that gives me that extra little thing that to work with, where I have an additional interest as the actor. I have an additional interest of why I want to know and have communication with the other person. And doing that builds another intensity to the work. Now, that technique is far more powerful than trying to go around and trying to convince yourself that you're other people, or trying to convince yourself of a character. But if that doesn't work for you, I understand it. Whatever works for you, that you're able to get your emotion into interaction, is going to be the technique that you're going to do. So we're dealing with conveying emotion. You don't have to convey emotion. You want to actually be feeling the emotion. You want to actually experience. You don't want to imagine that imagination is a powerful thing, and you can get a lot of powerful emotions from it. But you don't want to be disattached during the actual scene work. You want to have a real-time event in your acting exercise. And this is what's so important about this. So break this down, suggest some comments to me, how you deal with this topic. There's no right way and there's no wrong way to deal with character. The thing is that but there is a right way and a wrong way to make sure that you're connected to the other actor. And however you put the language on it, then accept how you do it, and then just be free with it. And make sure that you're connected to the other actor, and you're open and vulnerable enough that the other actor's affecting you to the depth of your core as much as you can. And that will be the ability for you to get the realism in your acting, and the ability to get your talent really amplified. And you're not amplifying, you amplify your own talent in the self activation techniques of emotional preparation, emotional activation. But during the actual interaction, your ability to listen and your ability to take in the other actor is what's going to reactivate you. And that is the key of understanding character and acting. Thanks. My name is Simon Blake. Check out my book, my emotional preparations book. This is a neat one. Reasons to Knock. Obviously, I was making adjustments to some of my books. This is about 2,300 ideas about reasons to be able to knock. You can use those for improvisations. Also, minor activities. There's going to be more of these coming out very soon. And I got a lot of work that I'm doing. So check these things out. Check out the 700 emotional preparations, the 700 actual emotions that you can use. And you want to be able to activate those emotions for yourself. And that is critical. Thanks a lot. Bye.